It's a gay soap opera focusing on body positive characters, and the stories go from anything from romance all the way to straight to horror.
Oh, hey. How was the flight?
It was great. Thanks for meeting me at the airport.
Uh-oh.
And we are based in Access.
I'm Eric.
I'm Christian. We are this one. Also can use this one, and you can be this one.
Oh my god.
We talked to Joshua.
Pangborn?
Yes, he's the artist director and head of Sidekick Productions. I might have heard about him because of his popular
Very
show.
popular 5th season coming up. It's Skeleton Crew.
Yes, it's like he defined it, is a gay soap opera. Busy way to explain. So we talked to him about his career, about the show, what's coming up. So check it out.
Check it out.
You said it was a Halloween party, but you only invited 6 people. What kind of party is this?
This is not a Hunter party. This is an Anthony party.
Oh, so it's a boring party. Are we going to have to sit around in a circle and talk about books?
Look, you wanted to tell everyone our big announcement. I just thought that this was the best way to do it. I'm gonna go change.
Anthony! Typical. You know, I wondered why he was hiding you under our bed. I was starting to think he was going crazy. Between you and me, I think he might be.
It's just gonna be another year as what are you doing?
Nothing. I was just playing with the dummy, seeing if there was a better spot we could put her.
She's not a dummy.
Hey, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, how are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Welcome to your channel, your show.
Yes.
Oh, I
Thanks
forgot.
for having me.
Okay, so why did you start Sidekick Productions?
That's a great question. I started Sidekick Productions because, it all starts just because practically. I mean, I did a play that was called All Folked Up, and it got into a festival, and it was one of those festivals which you have to produce yourself. So I said I need to have a production company to go along with it because I didn't want to just use my name as Joshua Pangborn. It's always better to have a production company, and I thought, well, if I'm going to make a production company, I need to make sure that it's a production company that does something, that says something about other than just producing this show. So I thought about it, and I realized I wanted to make a production company that was focused on size, blind, and body positive casting and LGBT issues. And because of that, I thought, how can I name it? Robin is my favorite DC Comics character, and I thought, well, I really love the idea of sidekicks, and I really love the idea of taking people who are generally considered sidekicks, like plus size people, and putting them in lead roles. So let's call it Sidekick Productions, and that's sort of how it started back in 2010, and it's been something that's really developed since then. But it all started from just that sort of core idea of if I'm going to make a production company, let's have it be something that does something. And in this case, it was body positive and LGBT issues. So,
Wow, very
Interesting.
makes sense. Very cool.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the award-winning web series Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew was something that started in 2015, and it was about that time that I was thinking about theater as something that I love. I love theater. I go to the theater whenever I can, but when you're doing independent theater in New York City, everyone does independent theater in New York City. I mean, you can throw a stone and you'll hit somebody that does an independent is either a playwright or an actor or something, and you hit them with the stone in it. So so I was like, I love doing it, but I don't see a lot of people going to it because you're competing with 30 other shows at the same time, plus Broadway, which is not even something you can even hope to touch at this level. So I was thinking I want to move into something that is film and television based, and so I wrote a play called The Skeleton Crew. And after my friends and I read through it, we did a practice read. I realized, oh, this is something I can think of that might have potential to be a larger story than what I've just told here. And so from there, I gathered a couple of people together, especially Stuart Keycheck. I couldn't have done this without him because he really was the driving force behind the camera at that time. And we put together a team for Skeleton Crew, and that's how it started, basically.
So after 5 years, what challenges have you faced? And do you think it's more difficult now, or it's much easier because you're used to it?
That's a great question. I think at the beginning we didn't know what to expect. We just sort of, I say this all the time, and people hear me say it all the time. But when I get the idea to do something, I sort of jump in with both feet without fully like embracing all of the difficulties, because if I sit there and dwell on the difficulties, I'll never get it done, because I'll just be like, oh, I can never do this. It's so much work to do, or so difficult to do this, or so hard to do that. So with the first season, I just sort of was like, Stuart, we're gonna do this, and the team got together and we did it, and we learned a lot, and there's a lot that we didn't know about at the time, and we didn't know how to do at the time, and we've grown so much since then. We've gotten better equipment. We've learned more about what it takes to do in post production. But in some ways, I think it's harder now, because we're trying to not just improve on our what we've done, but make it even better than ever before. Every season, we want to up what we're doing. Like this year is really, really hard. With season 5, we're doing a full musical episode with 15 original songs that I'm writing with Nakia.
I've been run down and I've been lied to.
I thought, let's do a musical, and I didn't realize all of the work that went into. I mean, I realized it, but I didn't realize all of the work that went into making a musical episode. And so every season, I bite off a bigger challenge, and every season, it gets a little more difficult, a little more challenging, but at the same time, even more fun. But I also think the hardest part now is reaching a new audience.
Yeah, because interesting, from more time it passes, the technology also changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the social media changed. What was one way 5 years ago, it's kind of not the same now. It's very interesting. You have to always adapt, always update. And
like Instagram 5 years ago was not ever. I didn't know many people with an Instagram 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden every show has to have an Instagram. Every company has to have an Instagram. Every actor, some characters having Instagrams. It's social media is driving me crazy at times.
yes, and also I guess it this time more people online, more opinionate people. Some can be good, some can be not so good. I think that's the bad side of that.
It is. I always try to do whenever especially when I get a negative opinion, is just realize, well, somebody took the time to have an emotional reaction to this, and somebody shared that emotional reaction, and that means that my work, whether or not they liked it, it made them feel something, and that's cool, because my work and the work that my team does, it's not. It's better to make them feel something negative than make them feel nothing at all. It's cliche, but I try to feel that, because you're right. It can be really hard to get negative opinions and negative feedback, and it makes you just want to be like, I'm giving up. I quit. Why am I doing this if people don't like that, or people treat you that way? But at the same time, I think as an artist, you try to make people feel something, and if you're making them feel something, it doesn't always mean it's a good thing that you're making them feel.
Yeah. But also important is also, once you start talking years ago, was that at least you're doing something. That's, I think, is the most important part. Some people complain that nothing happens, but you were doing something. You've been there for 5 years now.
Yeah.
At least this character. And so it's really cool that you're still there, still doing. And people don't like it. People like it. It's okay. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's very easy to make a comment about something online, but it's much harder for somebody to make something and do something. Like you guys, with you do a great job with everything that you do with your Instagram, with chats like this. It's very easy to criticize and say, oh well, this should be this or that should be that, or X should be X and Y should be Z, and it's very easy for people to say that. But until they actually put on their hat and do it, they're not really contributing much to the actual change that they want to see. So
Yeah, actually, since we have our other channel, the Fluffies channel, for 3 years now.
3 years?
So now we value way more how things are made. So when I see another video, another channel, if I don't like, I don't go thumbs down anymore. I just, okay, and respect and move on. I don't bother people sometimes because they say bad, some stupid criticism, or they thumbs down. Like, why thumbs down for that? Just relax. So try to do it.
Yeah. How hard it is.
How hard it is. So now we respect even more. So that's why I said, from now on, don't thumbs down anybody unless it's really
bad.
I'm the same way. I think if you give a thumbs down, it has to really mean something now. And it's usually because it's something that's probably something that's very not. I hate to use the word offensive, but I guess offensive is the word. But specifically something like if it's anti-gay or if it's anti-body positive. I mean, that's the reason I might thumb something down. But I'm not just gonna thumb something down because maybe the quality isn't as good as I would like it to be or something.
Hello, Mr. Wolf.
Well, hello, Mr. Stewart. Or should I call you Doctor?
Yes, Daddy.
How would you describe Skeleton Crew to someone who hasn't seen it?
That's changed a lot over the years. I used to be very, very proud. I created a word called a melodragomedy. And I said, Skeleton Crew is a melodragomedy, which is a melodramatic tragicomedy. Very early on, I was very literary with a lot of what I still am, but I was very, very literary with a lot of that I did in Sidekick Productions and with Skeleton Crew. And so people just didn't respond to the word melodragomedy. So eventually I heard, I think Ashley Monique Menard, who plays one of the main characters and is pretty much there with me for every other project we do. She came up, she's like, it's a gay soap opera, so just call it a gay soap opera. So I'm like, okay, that works. It's a gay soap opera. So that's what we call Skeleton Crew now to people. It's a gay soap opera focusing on body positive characters, and the stories go from anything from romance all the way straight to horror.
Did you change along this when you prepare a season? Do you change the stories along the way, or it's done is done? I mean,
sure. Yes and no. I write the scripts all in advance. So I have everything written usually before we start casting any new characters, before we start filming anything. Everything's written for the season. But along the way, you realize, oh, this story's not working out right, or I don't really like how this turned, so I think we need to change something. So scenes get added here and there, scenes get altered, and things get improved upon. Sometimes I'm inspired by something that happened as an improv that an actor did, and I'm like, you know what, we need to go with that more. And sometimes I meet a new actor who's playing a character who I thought was only going to be in one episode, and I think we just love working with this person. And I think, well, let's find a way to put this person in more, because I really like working with this person, and I think the character is somebody that would be really responded to with the audience. So there are changes that go along the way, and then sometimes just practically an actor either moves, or because usually we film between 6 to 9 months of the year for Skeleton Crew, because we can only film on Saturday or Sunday because so many of us have full-time day jobs. So in over 6 months, sometimes an actor moves, or they get a gig where they're traveling, doing a show, and they can't be in the city anymore. So sometimes we have to just either take a character out or move things around or rewrite so the character is no longer there. So changes happen throughout the year, but the bulk of the story is set from the beginning of filming.
good you can still adapt, can still do like that.
That's what we can do in independent filmmaking, is learning to adapt. It's one of the most important skills, because independent filmmaking means that you have literally almost no money, and so you need to figure out how to make it work without that, without money there. It's different than like a big television production, because really they have like the overall a mainstream TV show has the idea of what they want to do for the season. They have the arc worked out, but they really write almost on a couple week basis. So like if I'm writing a script now, it's going to be filmed in 3 weeks. When I write a script for Skeleton Crew, I write it in April, and that scene might not be filmed until November because that's just when we can film it. So.
And how many episodes per weekend do you film, or is that a goal?
I usually try to have the whole schedule planned out in advance, so that way we know, okay, it's April, but actually you're going to be needed on September 14th. So make sure you block that off in your calendar, even though it's April. Plan ahead, please. So our goal is usually between 15 and 20 pages a day when we film. Which is insane. It's most people who work in film would tell you that they usually spend 10 hours doing 2 pages, and we usually spend 10 hours doing between 15 to 20. So we have so much that we try to accomplish in such a short time that it makes it. That's where again the adaptation comes in and the sacrifice comes in, and that's the thing that I'm learning also. As I'm writing, I've learned one of the things I need to do is maybe write a little bit less because I want to film a little bit more.
Do you have a favorite scene from overall?
Oh my goodness, that is
good, isn't it?
that is a tough one. Because Skeleton Crew is probably close to 40 hours of television at this point. So favorite scene. Honestly, I have so many that. I really love a lot of things from season 4, especially the stuff related to the Huxley Project, which was our sci-fi episode. I really love episode 9 from season 3, which is everyone tells how they lost their virginity, and every scene is a different genre of storytelling. So, like one of our characters doesn't speak very much. His story is told as a silent film. Another character does it as a musical episode. So that's pretty much every scene in there is among my favorites. Yeah, I would have to say I have way too many to narrow down, and I know they say you have to choose, but I don't know if I can right now.
All your babies.
They are all my babies, and I know one of the most important rules in writing and filmmaking is you have to kill your babies sometimes. But it's hard to pick that one. Oh my goodness. I'm very bad when it comes to making a definitive selection. Like if you say what is your favorite movie, I would give you my favorite list of 10 movies is.
Very true.
Or the 10 now. Next year might be something
totally different.
Exactly. It's always something in flux and changing, and sometimes I watch a scene and I'm like, oh, I really love this scene, and then other times I watch that scene again and I'm like, oh, what was I thinking?
Did you ever get rid of a character and then later realize, oh, actually, now would be nice to be back? Have you done this kind of thing? Like, oh, I regret that now.
We rarely kill any characters off because I want to give people the option to come back if they want to. Most of the time when a character doesn't come back, it's either because, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, because the actor can't come back, or 2, because there's no story reason for that character to come back. I've had a couple characters who I've written for that I would love to come back, but then the actor tells me that their schedule doesn't allow them that commitment, and I think, oh, well, it's a shame that I can't have that character back. So yeah, I would say there's actually probably 3 characters that I really would have loved to have had back at some point, but the actor just conflict with time and everything.
Because he likes some American soap operas, so I know. And I find funny as a Brazilian, Brazil, you don't do that. You replace the actor, the same character, but it's another person. Who is this? Oh, is that character? So,
or they have an accident and they have facial reconstruction.
We did that. We did that with one character. The main actress who played my character's sister in season 1, she couldn't come back for the second season, and this was one of the main characters, and I knew that we wanted to have this character go forward because she was such an important catalyst for so many of the storylines, and she had that energy that we needed, that character. So what we did was we had that character get plastic surgery, and she it had a completely new face and a new actress plays her. We love the original actress and we love the new actress, and it's just one of those really wonderful experiences where we've worked with two wonderful people who are both playing the same character.
Or suddenly be a twin sister with
That's
mental
awesome.
shadow.
Yeah, that's fun when that happens.
Was there a scene that was very difficult to shoot?
The most challenging. Oh my God, how are we going to do this?
There were a couple. Well, in season one's really interesting because I had never played a character who had any love scenes at all, or did any kissing at all, or anything. Whenever I was in theater or acting, I was a character who was the comic relief usually, or something that was not the focus for the romantic storyline. So in season one, which is again one of the reasons that we did Sidekick Productions, was to have characters that looked like me or you in a storyline that was romantic. Season one, the lovemaking scenes were really hard to do because I've never done anything like that before, and it was so weird to kiss someone and have a camera in your face and lights over here and sound over here, and me and Jay, who had never done that kind of thing before, in front of cameras or with each other, and so it was just this really bizarre thing of you're supposed to make this sexy scene, and it's the least sexy possibilities around you because you've got so many people watching you. That was really challenging. And the musical stuff that we have coming out is some really complicated stuff that we're doing. It's very different for us because we've never done anything like that before. And then when we started getting into special effects, last season we had a character whose mouth was completely sewn up. So we started working with latex and practical effects, and that all became things that were more challenging and added new layers to what we were doing. So it became a budgetary thing for time. Because I'm used to going in there, and like I said, we filmed 20 pages in 10 hours, which is super fast. And I'm used to being like, okay, boom, 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 we're going forward. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute, we need a lot more time for the makeup effects now, which is so different than what I'm used to planning on. So that was a really hard part when we started incorporating practical makeup effects and things.
In the beginning, you didn't go shirtless as much, and I started going more like less clothes later. How was to open yourself to that? Because for us, big guys is a challenge. I mean, not so easy to start.
I will agree with you completely. I can honestly say that as much as I was trying to be body positive and everything in my life before I did this show, I wasn't very comfortable with who I was. It was just very hard to, go to the beach and take your shirt off. I just didn't feel comfortable doing that very much. And so I didn't put it in the show very much either. And as I was doing it more and more, I realized that I feel really comfortable doing this. And there's nothing wrong with me going to the beach and taking my shirt off, or being on camera and taking my shirt off, because you see it all the time with other characters and other actors in other shows. Maybe they have a six-pack and I don't, but there's no problem with that. And I am so grateful for the opportunity that Skeleton Crew has given me to just feel more incredibly comfortable with who I am physically and how I look and how I appear. I don't know if I would be in the same mindset now without being able to do a show like Skeleton Crew.
But it's interesting because sometimes you have no idea how much you influence others. Because for sure, many guys, many kids watching you now, you're going to influence them so a long term. Because I'm older now, I've met guys now. Oh, I grew up looking at your videos because I had some videos in bigger city became popular, and I said, "Oh, I watched your videos when I was a kid. I was young. I love you so much." I said, "Jesus, I didn't realize." A year ago, this guy from Australia came to Toronto. He want to see where he shot some of the things we did years ago. It was so bizarre to see that. The guy in Australia suddenly grew up looking at me getting naked in a library. And then you want to see where was it? Where did you shoot there? So, well, funny how much you reach.
It's been so wonderful because I have heard people tell me that. I've had people contact me and say, you really helped me with my relationship with my boyfriend, or you really helped me to realize what I was looking for. And I never thought that would be something that I would be able to do. And it means so much that I've created something that with my team that helps people. Because it's at the end of the day, it's a gay soap opera, but it's a gay soap opera that I guess some people just really have have felt has helped them, and that makes it so special that I was able to do something like this.
So you mentioned earlier about Nakia. So
Yes.
we know he's co-hosting the Sidekick Power Hour. How
Yes.
did you two get involved?
Well, Nakia is an amazingly talented person, and I attribute so much of how we've pushed the show the last year and a half or so to a lot of the work he's done behind the scenes with music and sound, and he's really helped push us in that direction to improve. And he's the reason that the musical episode is going to be so incredible. And I can't wait for people to hear it and see it. But I met him through one of the other actors on the show. Kelvin Cabrera plays the character Cameron Diaz, and he's somebody that's a friend of mine. He's somebody that I knew before the show, and he was mutual friends with Nakia. I think they met at Tidal Wave or one of those events, you know. And they Kelvin is such a huge supporter of the show, and he tells people about it whenever he can. And he told Nakia about it, and Nakia checked it out. Nakia said, "You know, I think I have some suggestions about the music for your show." And I said, "Please help me because I would love to have some help with that area." And he came on board to help out a little bit with the songs and music and audio, and he did a cameo in season 4. He's one of the main characters of season 5 now, and he's transformed so much of what we do to make it so much more polished in terms of music and sound, and I'm so grateful for that.
You're currently starting the production of the 5th season. Tell us what we can expect to see.
Oh, the 5th season, yeah. The 5th season. Well, the biggest thing you can expect is our musical episode. That's going to be 15 original songs, and it's going to be so cool because these songs are written by me and Nakia, and they're just. I've heard. I just heard a bunch of them today. Actually, he's been in Austin doing in the studio, working on finishing the productions of the songs and all, and it's just they sound so incredible. I'm so excited for people to hear them because I've been living with them for over almost a year and a half now, and they're so cool. We're going to have a couple albums released as well, a cast album, and then Nakia is going to release an album of that as well. So that's a big thing that you can expect right there. But now that with season 4 ending, we all saw that Hunter and Anthony are finally reunited, and that is something that fans have really wanted for a long time. So now we try to see what their marriage is like now that they're remarried, and it's a very different experience because for 3 years they'd started to learn to be more independent, and now they are a team again. And how does that work? And that's sort of one of the big storylines of this season. We also explore toxic masculinity, and especially in the bear culture, we really try to explore that topic this season. And of course, lots of wacky, zany fun with all of our favorite people from Money Shots. So,
I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
How are you doing that now with the pandemic? How are you preparing this?
so we filmed about 90% of everything last fall. We were able to film before the pandemic, and we just had to work out. We really just had the musical episode and about 2 other days worth of non-musical episode scenes to do. But unfortunately, we were supposed to get that all out of the way in February and March, and then we all know what happened. So that's really caused a huge delay. And then, as you know, as you might have seen from some of the posts I put up, the bar that we use for Money Shots, the way station, unfortunately, is a casualty of COVID, and that has unfortunately closed permanently. So that caused a bit of changes in some of the writing, and I had to for the remaining scenes that we have to film. So I've been doing some rewrites, I've been doing some scheduling, and we've been doing a lot of planning. But we also didn't want to leave our fans without something to watch. So what we did was we back in April and May, we put together a COVID episode where we all shot it from home, and we did a nice short quarantine episode that I think is really beautiful and really really heartwarming. It's still got the wacky zaniness that is Skeleton Crew, but it's also really kind of sweet. And what we did, I said it before season 5 comes out, so that way there's no conflicts with storylines or anything. And I've been editing all of the footage that we have shot and working on improving that, so that way when we are ready to go, we're ready to go. And then we decided let's get some publicity and some buzz up for season 5. So we started Sidekick Power Hour, and we would do so every week. We would watch another episode of Skeleton Crew from the beginning and talk about how we made it and what we did to make it happen.
Like I said, had to adapt no matter what. Keep adapting.
Exactly. It's all about adaptation and learning to deal with change.
And how far do we see the show going? Like, how many more seasons do you think is gonna? They have enough juice, let's say, for.
Oh, I have plenty of juice. Basically, I will go as long as people want to go with me. So, I definitely know that we're going to do a season 6 because I started writing it already. So I know we're going to do that. And then I guess we'll see where we are, because the thing is also things change all the time. So we've got another show that I do called Demon Doctor, and that's season 2 is coming out. But that's getting a lot of awards and things, and so I'm really excited about that. We have another show that I helped produce and I co-star in. That Ashley created, and it's called The Art of Blowing It. That's coming out in the fall. So, and I've also started writing a new web series that I shouldn't talk about too much because it's very beginning stages. And we also want to do a feature film next year. So, I know that I want to do at least one more season of Skeleton Crew for sure. How many more will we do after that? I don't know. Maybe we'll transition into Skeleton Crew, the yearly movie, instead of a season series. But I definitely don't want Skeleton Crew to go away because I really love Skeleton Crew.
How I have time for so many things? How many, Josh?
I don't sleep very much at all. I sleep about 4 to 5 hours a night, so that's sort of my secret.
I'll be a zombie.
No. I sometimes feel like it, but I manage not to because I drink a lot of Diet Pepsi, so that gives me the caffeine I need. So.
Well, when you do something you like, I think that's what matters. It makes you go forward. You know, talk more about your other projects.
Don't be afraid.
Detective Mark Bessem.
You can call me Derek, Inspector.
Help me. These murder cases.
Demon Doctor is I love Skeleton Crew so much. Demon Doctor is my new baby, though, and I really love this new baby that I have. It is a story. When I grew up on all these shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and The X-Files and shows like that, genre fiction shows. So I knew I wanted to create something in the world of horror and fantasy, and I decided to create Demon Doctor, which is the story of a plus-size demonologist and a detective who work together to solve supernatural crimes in New York City. And one of them believes a lot, and one of them does not believe very much. So it's got a little bit of that X-Files vibe going on. It's got a lot of the Buffy vibe going on. We finished season 1, and that's available on YouTube. We're at demondoctor.com, and it's really well received. And we over the weekend we just won 5 awards for it at the Hollywood Blood Horror Festival, and so that was super exciting. And I'm really excited to see where this show is going. We have season 2 all written, and we were literally about a week away from starting filming when New York City basically closed down in March. So we were so excited to get started. We had all the cast, we had everything ready to go, and then New York City said, nope, no filming, nothing, stay in your home. And so we said, okay. So I'm hoping that maybe come December or January we can start filming, but I'm not gonna I'm gonna wait. It's obviously one of those adapting to see what happens next. So
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And how can people support you, participate, get involved with Sidekick or projects? That way people can help you anyway.
sure. Well, you can always follow us online. We've got the YouTube page, which I think you posted a link to. We have so subscribe to us there, because the more people that subscribe to us on there, the really the more oomph we get on YouTube, and that's really really helpful. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sidekick Productions on Instagram. You can follow the shows on Instagram too, Demon Doctor the series and Skeleton Crew the series on Instagram. If you are in a position to donate, you can always donate to us on Venmo or PayPal. And you can reach out to me on Instagram to ask how to do that if you are able to do that. On Facebook, you can follow us on Facebook. And then every Monday night, we go live with Sidekick Power Hour, as you guys mentioned. That's a live episode of Skeleton Crew being talked about, being rewatched with me and Nakia as co-hosts, and special guests every week. Special footage and behind-the-scenes material that you might not have seen before. We talk about how you can support the show. I give you any updates and important announcements. It's every Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and you can watch us on YouTube or on Facebook.
Any final messages?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on here. I really am so grateful. I'm a huge fan of what you guys do. You are so supportive of the community, and you really make it a place that people want to be, because you understand the kind of things that people are looking for. And so I'm so grateful that you are happy and healthy and able to do things that you love, that we all appreciate you doing. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you too for
Yeah.
all these years and everything you do, and very important for the bear culture to have not just bear culture, but the gay culture to
And
have
the chub culture and
representation too. It's not just one kind. That's true.
yeah.
I appreciate that. I really and that's the thing about the show is it's supposed to it's a bear show, but it's also a chub show. It's a show for people who are non-mainstream LGBT. It's a show for people who are non-mainstream Hollywood. It's a show for it's a sex positive show. It's a show for people who is supportive of sex workers. It's a show supportive of trans people. We really try to make a place where people can find a community. And at Sidekick Productions, the shows that we make are hopefully things that are going to help people who feel like they're different or outsiders in some way.
So thanks, Joshua, for talking to us.
Yes, thanks so much.
It's so nice, and look forward to do more time, especially the shows coming up. We're for sure gonna have more talks.
So basically, check it out. It's a great show.
See here, YouTube.
So go to youtube.com/sidekickprod.
You can see the shows. You can see the
Sidekick Power
Hour that
Power
we've
Hour.
been doing. You can get to know other things. Also go to their website to learn more, to support. What's important is if you don't support, these things don't survive.
Yes,
so you need
very
to
important.
watch. So the numbers are important. Social media and support, spread the word about that. So
Yeah, let people know.
let people know. Look, this show, this
Web
bear
series.
chub gay,
Body positive.
yes, soap opera and other things they do. So just support also Nakia. Hope you can talk to him sometime. So
Yes, looking forward to it.
yes. And besides that, we have our part. Have BreakSays.com on YouTube. We have our website, follow BreakSays.com, and every else.
And also our Instagram.
Yes. And the most important, like you usually say,
Stay fluffy.